All right. Hey YouTube, I'm Lucky, and the Trials meta has shifted drastically once again with last weekend's Trials map, Eternity, the biggest Trials map we've seen in a long time. I mean, this map was around in D1 at the very beginning. If you weren't there for the first launch of Trials of the Nine in Destiny 2 Year 1, before the Go Fast update, before special ammo economy changes inside Destiny 2, you remember this map 4v4 with the game mode countdown. I remember this. It played a lot slower, and there's no surprises here how big this map is. We actually see a huge change in the weaponry used, and so in today's video, we're going to be covering the meta, the most strong weapons, and we'll see if these weapons transfer over from week to week as we go into more mid-range or close-range maps. I'm definitely excited to cover this video because I find it to be really interesting to see when the meta changes in PvP, and we saw some huge changes this weekend. The Jade Rabbit, the king of scout rifles, with 3 million kills, almost 3 more than the second place weapon used, the No Time to Explain, which was previously seen so much on Shores of Time. We saw everyone using No Time to Explain, right? There was another huge meta shift during that, and now we get an even bigger map, and so we see a weapon like Jade Rabbit being utilized so much more. Of course, it just has seemingly infinite range. You can 3-tap people from so far away. No surprises here that Jade Rabbit was used so much, but I do have something I want to say, and I'm going to cover this, which is the secret meta that not a lot of people have figured out yet. That the Jade Rabbit is good, but it's not as good as another weapon in the top 10. We'll get to that in just a moment. Jade Rabbit does finish number 1, but people didn't know about how good this weapon is. The No Time to Explain, number 2. The beloved number 3, a sniper. No surprises there. You can craft this one, craft the God roll of it. It's amazing. Definitely, I can see a lot of people hitting those snipes across the map on this map. And then we've got the main ingredient, of course, when you get to that mid-range. Very forgiving, very open areas. Fusion rifles are going to be lethal. The Dead Man's Tail ranks in at number 5. Not nearly as much range as the Jade Rabbit, but a good scout overall. And we see the Peace of Mind come in at number 6, a 540 RPM pulse that you can craft. So, again, back to the mid-range there. The Horror's Lease gets all the way up there because a lot of people unlocking this, and I made a video covering how good this is. I myself didn't take it for a spin this weekend because I found that, taking the time to close the distance wasn't really as helpful. I preferred to use a different weapon, and we'll get to that in just a moment. The Ostringer makes it to the number 8 spot, and the number 9 spot goes to the Forerunner, but I'm here to tell you right now, the Forerunner is the real meta inside PvP. You may not believe me, but I'm telling you right now, I was using the Jade Rabbit all weekend for the first few days, and I did really well. It was a good time. But the problem is everyone's using Restoration. Everyone's using their Lorelei Titan helmets. They've got Worm Husk and Restoration ×2 and all of that. And it's really hard to kill them before they are able to strafe behind cover, strafe behind, the ball or the giant wall or whatever it is that there is out there, right? All the different objects in the game. But the Forerunner also 3-taps people, just as the Jade Rabbit does. But it does so at a 200 RPM, so it's significantly faster. If you were not using the Forerunner last weekend, you missed out because that was the secret meta. That was the real meta last weekend. The Forerunner was it. Now, of course, you only get 8 shots. So if you miss those shots or if you don't get the kill, then you're a little, sorry, out of luck. But you got to make those shots count. You got to land those 3-taps. Or if you don't land the 3-taps, you can hit a body shot if you have to. But it's so much more lethal. The RPM is so much better than the Jade Rabbit. And when you do get a brick, you get 4 now because of the recent update. Forerunner was the real meta, I'm telling you right now. The Lord of Wolves was used enough to make it into the top 10, which is not too surprising. Of course, when you do finally close the distance on people, Lord of Wolves is going to be super lethal and super good. Even after the most recent nerfs, Lord of Wolves is very good. I've been using this thing for a long time. Obviously, people associate me as the Lord of Wolves guy, because of the 1v3 Release the Wolves. I'm telling you right now, it's still really good in the current sandbox. Now we're going to go into deep dive a little bit further into the statistics. Before was the top 10 culmination of all weapons, but now we're going to break it down into top 10 kinetic and top 10 energy using warmind.io, a lovely website. They have number 1 goes to Jade Rabbit with 42% usage overall. That's staggering. That's a huge difference compared to number 2, which is the No Time to Explain. The Dead Man's Tail, number 3. The Peace of Mind, the Ostringer, the Forerunner, number 6. The Messenger made it to number 7, the Adept, that is. The Eye of Soul actually made an appearance here in number 8. The Last Word, even after all of these nerfs, even after the biggest map in the game, the Last Word still being used, bringing in 3% of the usage rate. And the regular Eye of Soul ranks it in the number 10. So a lot of people using the Eye of Soul if they're using a kinetic sniper, of course. Energy Sniper goes to the Beloved, and we'll jump right into that right now. With the top 10 energy weapons, 19% usage went to the Beloved, so a lot of people out there rocking Jade Rabbit and Beloved, I would presume. Double long range weapons, nothing wrong with that. Team shooting, landing those shots with Jade Rabbit, landing those snipes, etc. Main ingredient is number 2. The Horror's Least Adept is number 3. That's partly because it's really good, but also because it's a newer weapon and a lot of people are really excited about it. I do think that as more people get their hands on this weapon, they'll be like, wow, this thing is actually nuts. And when we play on like a more mid-range map, like, I don't know, Javelin 4, for example, people are going to really, really like this weapon. I'm going to be using this weapon when we play a mid-range map. Number 4 goes to Lord of Wolves. Number 5, Polaris Lance, which is a little bit surprising because the Polaris Lance is basically like the energy Jade Rabbit. If you don't like using the Jade Rabbit, or if you want to be a little bit, different than everyone else, rocking the Polaris Lance is definitely fire. I used it a bunch before on Shores of Time. So good. Works just as good as Jade Rabbit in my opinion, but clearly Jade Rabbit is the winner overall in terms of the meta right now. The Drang Baroque Sidearm makes it the number 6. The number 7 goes to the Le Monarch Bow. Number 8 is the Without Remorse Shotgun. Number 9, the BXR Battler, a little more mid to long range pulse rifle. Not too surprised though, because that thing is a beast. And number 10 goes to the Jotun with 6%. So a lot of people rocking that Jotun. But there it is. That is the meta report. Those were the huge changes from last weekend of Trials. Let me know your thoughts. What weapons were you using to go flawless last weekend? And do you expect any of these weapons to transfer over into next weekend's flawless meta? Do you think that this is a new recent change? Are we in a scout rifle meta now? I doubt it's going to be quite that serious. I think that when it's a smaller map, things will change and shift a little bit. But it's always interesting to see, and it's kind of fun to see a shift in the meta. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Do you like things to be more, uniform? Do you want things to be more, same weapons used week by week? I kind of like the change. I know it was a bit frustrating. Jade Rabbit, some people didn't like that necessarily across the map type stuff, but I found it to be kind of fun. Let me know if you had fun playing Trials this weekend in Eternity. That's a wrap on today's video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed. Smash the like button. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.